Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and anything in between. Today we will be learning how to create a trial balance. Before we go into that, we must know what the keyword means. General ledger is the main accounting record of a business. It's used to keep track of transactions. You will see a lot of general ledgers when we go into our example question, so stay tuned. What's a trial balance, first of all? A trial balance is a list of all general ledger accounts contained in the ledger of a business. It holds both debit and credit side. The debit must equal the credit when totaled up at the end. If not, then there must be a mathematical error within the double entry. You will get a better idea when we do the example question. This is the layout and format of a trial balance. We first of all have the title on the top, where we write the business name and the date. We then have a debit and credit side with £2 signs down below, or it could be dollar signs. It depends where you're from. We then have a list of all the general ledger accounts, for example, revenue, purchases, sales, return, and then next to it we write the value. But remember, I've written a note on the right side of your screen. It says must remember dead click. Dead click basically tells us where to put the number value on the trial balance. So on the debit side, dead, D-E-A-D. E stands for expense, A stands for assets, and D stands for drawings. So purchases. A purchase is an expense, so we would put it in the debit side. Then we have click. Click stands for credit, liability, income, capital. An example is income. So revenue is income. You put it on the credit side. You must remember dead click. If you remember it, then you can simply easily do trial balance. Alright, so this is our example question. These are Alan B. Jordan's general ledger accounts for the month of October 2022. Please create a trial balance. Okay, first of all, what do we have on our screen? These are all general ledger accounts. We have purchases, sales, loan, wages, office equipment, trade payable, bank cash. So what is our first step? Our first step is to draw our layouts. Okay, so I have proceeded to draw my layout. I have the title at the top, Alan B. Jordan as my business name. Then I have the date, 1st of November 2022. So now I have that. What is my second step? Deal with any adjustments. Let's go back to our questions and see if we have any adjustments. No, we do not. So we proceed to our third step. Transfer all your figures. So let's do that. Our first figure is purchases. And purchases is on the debit side with a balance of 475. So I go into my trial balance. I write purchases. Then I put 475 onto my debit side. Okay, so what's our second account? Sales. We do the same thing. We go into our trial balance. But this time, the sales is on the credit side because it's an income. And what does dead click tell us? That income goes on the credit side. So we write the account name again, which is sales, with the value of 490 on the credit side. What's our third one? Loan. Loan is a liability. What does dead click tell us again? That liability goes on the credit side. So I put loan with the value of 1000 on the credit side. What's the fourth one? Wages. Wages is an expense. What does dead click tell us? Dead click tell us that expenses go on the debit. So we go back on our trial balance, write wages, and put the value of 125 on the debit side. We do the same for office equipment. Office equipment is an asset. Dead click tell us that assets go on the debit side. So we go on our trial balance, we write office equipment with the value of 160 on the debit side. Then we have trade payables. If you are not aware of what trade payable means, trade payable are basically suppliers we buy from on credit, which means we haven't paid them yet, but we have their product. We pay them later, so we owe them money. which makes them a liability. And DebtClick tells us that liabilities go on the credit side. So we get trade payable, we write it down, then we put the value of 160 onto the credit side. Bank is an asset. Again, what does DebtClick tell us? It tells us that assets go on the debit side. So we get 865 and we put it on the debit side. Cash again is an asset. So we write down cash and we put 25 onto the debit side. Okay, so now we have all of that. We must total them up. So we total up all the debit side, all the credit side, and they must equal. Okay, so now I have calculated them. I got a total of 1,650 on both sides. Anyways, I hope you found that helpful. If you want more videos like this where I do it with adjustments, please like and subscribe and keep the notifications on. Goodbye.